Hey Harmonizers, in this video we're going to go through a couple Mustang progresses here and why I came to the decision to actually sell off my Mustangs, which was super sad, but also the decision that I needed to kind of come to because of my accident and everything I've gone through. So first up, I'm just showing you in Pennsylvania me getting on Lila the Mustang and doing a little bit of work to just make sure she's okay with my leg and everything like that. You can see Franny's there standing with me just to make sure that everything's going okay and give me that ground support. And the reason why we're doing this is because when we were riding around, not me on her, but Zoe, the student that was on her, something happened where she got worried because there was a trailer that was really loud and noisy that went by. And then so as Zoe kind of turned her away from it, she kind of startled a little bit and it was a little bit scary. So I thought, okay, we really need to desensitize her to legs. So you can see I did a little bit of stuff, and then when I get off, you can see Lila's looking relaxed. She's not sweaty. It's not very upsetting or anything like that. And the whole video I'm going to be putting in our Connection Club to show all the different things that I did. And then this is now coming home from Pennsylvania, what she looks like probably about 5 weeks or so after coming home. And she's not been getting ridden regularly or working, and it's been a little tricky because for Zoe's sake, I was in the hospital and then unable to help, and I'm still unable to help. So as I'm filming this video, I'm not able to be holding the rope to help with the horse to give that ground support. I'm not able to get on the horse and do the things I was doing in Pennsylvania to help move her training along. And then we had some staff changes at the farm, so there's no experienced Mustang training staff that are able to have the time to come and help Zoe either. So Zoe's kind of been stuck in this little rut where she had that little scare that she had, and then hasn't really been riding or doing, she's been doing a little bit of groundwork, but it hasn't been riding. And so one of the things that happens with horses is groundwork can improve riding, but ultimately you also need to build that same confidence and relaxation in the saddle as well. Otherwise your horse can become a superstar on the ground, but if you don't build up those same baby steps in the saddle, your horse can be really spooky or unsure or really startled, especially in this case where it's a Mustang and they're flighty by nature, and it's not like she had previous training where she was super solid walk trot. She was kind of sticky and getting there, but not super solid. So now she's at this point where you can see we're kind of going back to the basics, and she's getting on, she's doing everything slowly, rewarding along the way. We want to make sure everything goes really comfortably. And because Zoe was doing a lot of the starting pieces herself, she didn't necessarily have all of those leg control pieces where we desensitize and build that horse's confidence to the leg and understand that it means different things. So we want to make sure that it's totally not upsetting, and also we don't want to leave her on that note of being upset. And so for Lila's sake, only getting ridden like once every 5 weeks or even once every other week at this point in her training is really hard to make any sort of progress. And for me, it's really hard to watch because I can't go over and help and support. I can't put myself in that position where I potentially get hurt or I'm pulled on the rope or something like that. I'm listening to my doctor's advice, which is no horse training at this point while this video is being filmed. And so I'm guiding Zoe a little bit, giving her some tips like, okay, like just sit, relax, make sure the horse is breathing, licking and chewing, like you don't need to go anywhere. Just, wait for her body to get really soft and feel really relaxed. Because sometimes people get on and they're in such a hurry and then they're just riding a little tense ball. And so we don't want to do that. We want to make sure everything's relaxed and really calm. And I did post that video of Pretzel going for her first ride after 5 weeks of not being ridden. And so this is kind of a similar case with Lila, except for Lila was not as far ahead in her training as Pretzel was. So this is not quite the same thing. She was more green being ridden, which means the expectations are not the same at all. You can see our little cat Jelly is going around and likes to go around the horses and likes to try to ask for pets and stuff. So she's tolerating that really well too. And I want you to really kind of appreciate the long pause that we do, really just allowing the horse the time to think, to lick and chew, to breathe, no hurry to do a whole lot of things. And one of the things that I was kind of advising Zoe on is it's okay to just if you don't have a lot of time, just get on and sit on her and just sit and breathe. And then at least you're going to build positive associations with being ridden. Having somebody on their back is just get on and be relaxed and be calm, rather than thinking, you got to get on and you got to do stuff. Doing stuff is great, and training her and working up to other ABCs and other exercises is really wonderful. But it's okay if you just get on and you're just building that confidence sitting in the saddle again. And especially just because of what happened in Pennsylvania. She didn't technically fall off because Zoe was already planning, like she was already getting off because of the loud noise of the loud trailer going by. So she was already getting off. But as she was getting off, Lila kind of spooked and ran forward and did canter I think 4 strides or something like that. So Zoe, didn't fall. She was already literally getting off as it happened, but it's still a scary thing to happen. And then that's her second kind of scary. I don't have a video of the first one, but there was another incident when they were very, very first training, that she had another moment where she kind of did a similar type of thing. So there's some tension there on both parts of, Zoe feeling a little bit tense and feeling a little nervous. And then Lila also, not having a ton of experience under her belt. And when you're training young horses and horses that tend to be a little bit more nervous, I find that they usually need a little bit of consistency. They don't need to be ridden every single day, but I find usually having a training session a couple times a week is helpful. Even riding 2 or 3 times a week can make a big difference and still at least progressing and making that progress. But if you're just riding once a week or once every other week, I find it can be very hard to make a lot of progress unless you're doing a lot of groundwork to support all of that. So with Zoe's case being, a student, working other jobs, she's got a lot of other things going on, she's only able to come up a couple times a week. I'm not able to train. We don't have any other staff at the farm that are currently available to train, either because they don't have the experience with Mustangs or because they don't have extra time to come up and devote to her. And here you can see she goes for a little walk. And I was explaining, it's okay to go for the smallest of walks and do just the tiniest little ride and just start to develop this relaxation piece. And so as all of this is going on, I'm thinking this is going to be really hard to make progress and also do what's best for Lila. I don't want to be in a situation where maybe Zoe does have a fall, or maybe Lila does get spooked and runs off, and I'm not able to go hold that rope or fix the situation. And although we could make a little bit of slow, steady progress, Zoe's not able to come up, regularly throughout the week to really make progress. So I ended up making a super hard, tough decision, which was to sell my Mustangs. And so Lila and Pretzel, we're going to see Lila going back out to the field here in a second. Lila and Pretzel, they go out to the field together. And I was able to find another horse trainer that mostly does a lot of really gentle work, was in no rush to train them or anything like that, had their own facility, and they were willing to take both Lila and Pretzel. And so it ended up being a huge financial loss because I only got $500 for each horse. And if you can just imagine the costs alone just from getting the horses from Pennsylvania, purchasing from the BLM, which is where you get the Mustangs from, the board for keeping them over the summer, and then of course the time and the experience that we have put into them, because they were feral when we got them. You couldn't touch them, you couldn't halter them, all of those pieces. And now they can at least live in a normal herd with other horses, and you can catch them, they can wear blankets, all of those things. So it's a big loss on my part, but I thought it was more important to find a really good home for the horses where somebody would be gentle with them, someone would be kind, than it was to, try to get the most dollar out of it. And also, so this is the person who ended up buying them. You can see she's being really gentle and really lovely with Pretzel there. And for me, it was about the horses, because if I just keep them in my fields doing nothing while they're inexperienced, they're just going to get gradually more nervous, and all that training is going to become undone, whereas I'm getting them into a home where they can continue. So this was them loading onto the trailer. That's Pretzel getting on the trailer first, and then Lila afterwards, who was a little tricky, but she did get on. And then this is a few pictures of them in their new home, which is pretty exciting. They're doing really well, and I just wish them the best in the future and can't wait till I can train horses again. Remember to subscribe and check out harmonyhorsemanship.com for even more learning.